Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, February 26th, and this is obviously the start of a new weekly reading and writing vlog. Definitely check out last week's vlog if you haven't watched it already, because there's a lot of information, especially on the writing sides of things, that I don't want to repeat myself too much, but basically I have a new first chapter to write. I'm still going over the last 5 chapters that I edited and working on things on a sentence by sentence level, not just on like a plotting overview story level, and still have yet to send chapter 5 off to my editing friend. So there's a lot going on in that regard, and I'm mostly going to be working on writing stuff today. I'm still working my way through Sorcery of Thorns. That's another thing that I'm trying to focus on this week, although it's been a little bit difficult because I have had so much going on. As you can see, I rearranged my office area, but I also rearranged a ton of parts of my house, got rid of some furniture, got rid of a ton of stuff. I have like 6 bags in my car to give to Goodwill. And I also, the thing that has been taking up a lot of my time is setting up my new iPhone 11. But I spent like the first 24 hours without a case or a screen protector, and I didn't even like want to touch it. But yeah, so now that all of that is more or less taken care of, I can really focus on, well, like I said, today it's going to be writing, because I scheduled to work by myself on Wednesdays, mostly because it's the slowest day of the week, and then I can get a lot of my own personal creative work done. Writing for sure, rewriting that new chapter 1, and by working on my chapter 1, it's going to affect really just chapter 2, I think, so that will also have to be deconstructed a little bit, but instead of a longer, overly info dumpy first chapter, there will be shorter, hopefully more exciting, more engaging, and more focused 2 chapters in the beginning. So I'm really excited to work on that, as well as reading Sorcery of Thorns. This book is so crazy. I had like a smidgen of idea what it was going to be about when I first started reading it. Like, I knew it was going to be a romance and that it took place in a library, but so much stuff is happening. It is just so densely packed with adventure. It's quite enjoyable. The main character is kind of interesting. I'm definitely watching to see where she goes from here, because they set her up to be somebody who like never follows the rules and never does what she's told, but she kind of feels a bit more passive right now. And if that's a temporary thing, then that, I mean, I don't have a problem with her. It's just something that I've noticed, and I'm interested to see how that plays out for the rest of the book. I have a few more things to unscrew and then screw back up on a different section of the wall. So I'm gonna listen to, oh my gosh, yeah, I got the audiobook for the second book in the Red Rising series. What is that called? Golden Star, Golden Sun? Oh, Golden Sun, S-O-N. So I just started it. Like, it's 19 hours long and I'm like barely an hour in, but right away I'm like, wow, what a book. Just listening to it makes me anxious. But I'm really excited to dive back into an audiobook, because I've been listening to that Celtic lecture series, and there's one more episode left, but I miss listening to fiction. So that's my plan for the day, and I'll take you guys with me. Look at how good my office looks now. This took about a half hour to put together, but how cute is it? There's even a little bee. It's adorable. I also did write down notes and just kind of like a preview for chapter 1. Mainly like the themes and plot points that I want to focus on, along with like the action. So I'm gonna finally sit down and write. All right, so it's 4 p.m. It's past 4 p.m. It's snowing outside, which I was not prepared for. I didn't even wear my warmest jacket today. I had no idea. But I just spent the last like 3.5 hours working on this first chapter, which as of right now is like only 3.5 pages long. Completed, maybe. I'm struggling because there was something in my original first chapter that I was like, oh, I'll just take that out, put that in this new first chapter. That's something I really liked. It was like the end of that old first chapter because it had like an emotional zinger to it. But now that I started this new chapter, I was like, ooh, we're at the right location. It's not that it couldn't happen, but it almost feels messy. When I feel like I'm trying to cut down on the amount of information I'm trying to give, and I'm still giving a lot. There's still quite a bit of world building going on in the like 3.5, 4 pages that I wrote. Although I have room, you know, to add this in there, I'm just not sure it's necessary or appropriate for the tone that I'm going for right now. So I need someone else to read it who has already read my previous first chapter and get a second opinion on it, because I just don't know. Not against it, but I'm not sure I'm for it. I don't know. I need to think about it for a little bit. I might just polish up this chapter tonight or tomorrow and then send it off to my secret editing friend, and then I'll see from there what she has to say about it. But anyway, I want to get going because I already know the drive home is going to be so annoying. Ooh, but I have listened to a lot of Red Rising today. I think I'm like 2.5 hours, 3 hours into it, and it's so good. I love it. So that's the one nice thing about the snowstorm, which is definitely going to slow down traffic, is that I'm going to be able to get through even more of Red Rising. Hey everyone, happy Thursday. It is definitely later in the day than I typically like to film my intros, but it snowed last night. The ice or the roads were a little rough, so it took me a second to get to work, so I didn't get there early enough to film before my coworker showed up, is the gist of it. But I'm about 200 pages into Sorcery of Thorns, and it's one of those books where I just cannot predict what is coming next. Like, we're already at a point where I'm just like, who knows what's gonna happen? It's gonna be nuts. I'm also 3.5 hours, maybe 4, into Golden Sun, the second book in the Red Rising series. Also so good. I cannot wait to get more into that. I love this series, and another book where I just have no idea where it's gonna go. It's already so off the rails, at least compared to what I imagined maybe the books to be. But I am about to film a video. I'm a little bit behind with all that. I think rearranging my office and my home just kind of set me back a little bit, although it was very much necessary. So I need to desperately get some filming done. It's going to be like little mini book reviews, which I think will be really fun. And then take the dogs on a nice long walk, even though it is so cold out, and then do a little bit more writing, and then hopefully just spend the evening reading. I'm home relatively early, so I should be able to get a lot done today, and I will take you guys with me. Okay, that was fun. I actually felt like I got a lot off my chest. Like, I've been holding on to all my thoughts on these random books, and like, now they're going to be out in the world soon. So despite the fact that it looks really windy and really cold, I gotta go walk these puppies, and they're desperate for it. So let's go get them. I hear you. Hey everyone. So the center is closed and I'm going to finish up some video editing before I head out and, you know, do what I do with my evenings, which I think tonight is going to be mostly dog stuff and reading. Because I have been so focused on my story, I've just barely been able to get through a chapter a day of Sorcery of Thorns. And as much as I want to focus on my writing now still, I need to dedicate a chunk of time for my reading, or I will just push it off and push it off and push it off. And tomorrow I'm gonna wake up early and just do a ton of writing. I'm gonna have it be a very writing focused day. I also have D&D tomorrow. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be such a fun weekend. I can't wait to start that with you guys. But this morning, I was listening to Golden Sun, the second book in the Red Rising trilogy, and I was about 3.5 hours in, and it made me cry. It was really heartbreaking and like difficult to listen to, but so good. Like, I love this series so much, but it definitely threw me for a loop for a little bit and just like ripped out my heart, and it was kind of rough. I was like trying to get ready and like like actually crying. It was it was a lot. But like I said, right now work on some video editing so I can get that video up tomorrow. I need to also do some filming this weekend because it was really nice having those batch film, like not having to worry about filming and just having everything ready to go, because now that I am just about caught up with all the stuff I filmed in February, I'm like, oh my god, I'm falling a little bit behind. I don't mean to post a video on Saturday. I prefer to post one Thursday or Friday, but as long as it goes up, you know? So that's what I'm gonna work on, guys.
Princess is extremely deferential to her.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. So I'm going to head into work because I have a few things that I need to do, even though I'm not like scheduled to actually work today. But I am going to also go to either Target or Barnes & Noble afterwards and do a ton of writing. I also have a video to post today, but that shouldn't take too long. But the writing, I'm really gunning to get that done today so I can send it off to my friend. And what am I working on writing-wise? Why, still the first chapter, and let me tell you something. So I talked to my friend who now lives in LA, but that I used to room with here in Columbus the first year that I was here, and my secret editor friend yesterday. So I talked to both of them recently. I haven't talked to my LA friend about my book in a hot minute, but she knows so much about it because we used to talk about it all the time, that when I was telling her about how I'm like redoing the first chapter, or you know, like what my goals are with it, she was just like pointing out things about my book, not that I forgot about, but it's just like crazy to talk to somebody who really knows the book, I don't want to say as well as I do, but remembers a lot of like what's going to happen throughout this book, what I want to do with the whole series, and was just pointing those things out to me, and I was just like, oh, okay. And she made a good point of adding something to my first chapter to make my protagonist seem more like heroic and sympathetic and like a hero for the innocents. And it's just like, okay, I know what to do. That doesn't seem too hard. And then talking to my secret editor friend last night, she kind of brought up some questions for me because, like she said last week, she views the first chapter as a bit of a microcosm of what the rest of the book is going to be, or kind of like the tone or the themes, or like what is the most important thing for the rest of the book, both for the main character and potentially the plot. And there was something that I was avoiding because I thought that I just couldn't see how I could make it work in the confines of the world that I built. And then yesterday I just had this epiphany after talking to her where it was like, wait a second, there are things that I want to do in book 2 and 3 of this series, because I imagine it as a trilogy, that allow me to do this thing that I'm avoiding, because it's like, oh, I couldn't see how to make it work. And I was like, wait a second, I can make it work. I have it set up in the rest of the series where that could work. So anyway, I just had this like, I know what to do kind of epiphany, and I tried working on it a bit yesterday, and it just feels like I'm going in the right direction. So I want to, after thinking about it and the logistics of it, banging it out today, like really getting it down today, and hopefully I can send it off later today, because I'm also playing D&D tonight, so I have a time limit for my day before I have to head home and then head to my friend's house for D&D, which I'm so excited for. And as for my reading, I'm about 5 hours into Golden Sun, which is amazing. I just love listening to it. It feels like Pierce Brown is a master of his craft, a master of the story. I haven't been this excited about a series since The Blade itself, so I am all on board. And then I'm about halfway through Sorcery of Thorns, and this one, the first 100 pages were so good, and it's like I loved the premise, I loved the characters, it was so fast-paced, we're just going, new things are happening all the time, the world feels so big and like lived in, there's so much about it that I like. And then it's like this weird thing happened halfway through where it felt like I could hear the author, and if you've watched my Ninth House review, this is a similar complaint that I had in that, where like the author stops the book, gets out a microphone, and is just like, men are evil and terrible, and women are victims. I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but that is what it feels like. And it's like, okay, if you want that to be a like theme in your story, that's fine, but I don't like that you're stopping it to just very explicitly hammer it into the reader's head. Just show it. Just show it in your book. You don't have to tell me it. Your readers are not stupid. They'll pick up on that theme if that's the point you're really trying to get across. And so, and granted, it's a point that I find a little bit juvenile, but beyond that, it's just, it kept happening, and I don't like it. I don't know, there's just something about it that's not quite clicking with me in the way that it did for the first 100 pages, which is part of the reason it's taking me a hot second to read through it, because I read a chapter and I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit bored now. Maybe it's just suffering from a saggy middle, and then things will pick back up in another 100 pages, but I have to get through the middle first to see if that is in fact the case. I hope it does, because there's so much about the book that I really, really like, so I don't want it to be disappointing. I hope this is just a bit of a hiccup. I had to force myself to sit down and read it last night, because what I wanted to do was listen to Golden Sun. Oh, and let me show you my new living room setup and how that's been helping me and my productivity. So as you guys may or may not remember, I used to just have this couch in the living room and a coffee table. Coffee table is gone because it was just taking up too much space and kind of interfering with the dogs and like what they wanted to do, and because it was at like dog level, if the dogs came in and were wet and shook off or whatever, anything on the table would get wet, so it was just very impractical. So instead, I brought my comfy cozy reading chair from my YouTube room down to this little corner, and as much as I loved it aesthetically in my YouTube room, that room is very drafty, and I was always freaking freezing and just never wanted to be up there except to film. But I didn't really want to spend a ton of time up there because it was so like cold and uncomfortable. But down here, I still have a window view, I have my plants, I have a little table to put like drinks or my book. And what I've been doing is, like, if I'm doing anything leisurely, I hang out at the couch. So if I'm like watching YouTube or maybe even reading, I'll hang out here. But if I want to get work done, like writing or editing YouTube, I sit here. And it's been fascinating how quickly my brain has adjusted to, like, if I'm sitting at this chair, I am doing work. If I'm sitting at this couch, I am not doing work. And so just inherently moving myself from a couch to this chair is just like, okay, it's time to work. I also have a bit of a gallery wall going. I definitely need more pictures. All of those like frames and like the artsy stuff was handed down from my LA friend before she moved, so it's just a random collection of things, and then my bulletin board that has like important dates on it, and then I moved a lot of stuff off my mantle so it just looks cleaner and more polished. And this is what I spent this last Sunday doing, is just trying to get this room to be a little bit more open and organized and decluttered. But I can hear my dogs freaking out right now. They want to go on a walk so bad, so I need to go take care of them, and I will try to update you guys later.
Are you going to spend all day doing that?
Oh, hell's the bazia.
Okay.
And the payment for this one?
This was pro bono.
Nope. You told me, and I quote, I'll give you a job. And what does a job require? Payment. Otherwise, it's just volunteer work, mister.
He says, you have the thanks of,
Hey guys, happy Sunday and happy 1st of March. It's so exciting. I feel like January and February are the hardest months to get through weather-wise because it's so dark, and now it's like, okay, spring is coming this month and I'm just so excited for more sunshine. I also just love Sunday and Saturday mornings because they're so quiet and peaceful. And this morning I got up before my alarm, and so I read some more Sorcery of Thorns, and then when I took the puppies on a walk, listened to Golden Sun. Golden Sun is so good. Sorcery of Thorn, the aspects that I like, I really like, especially because there's like fantasy libraries involved, and like the books have personalities and kind of come to life and maybe will sing or they'll try to bite at you, and like that kind of stuff is so fun and creative, and I'm always super into any sort of like creature based fantasy. But I kind of feel like we're treading water a little bit, like we're taking our time before just getting to the freaking plot, even though it's like stuff is happening. It's a very fast-paced book, but it feels like we're not getting to the meat of it yet for some reason. So my girlfriend is about to pick me up and we're gonna get our nails done with some other friends. I have a hockey game to go to tonight, which I won tickets for. So I'm, again, really excited to that. I haven't been to a hockey game in years, but they're so fun. Oh, it's the Blue Jackets playing against the Canucks, which is a Canadian team. Hey everyone, so it's Monday. I feel like yesterday was such a wreck, me trying to talk to you guys about what my plans were, because honestly this weekend was one of the busiest weekends I've ever had in a while. I wasn't even able to send off my newly edited chapter 1 to anybody yesterday. I was so sure that I would have at least an hour or two to do that. Nope, my day was jam-packed. Got my nails done, went thrifting, and got a ton of stuff. I also had like 4 bags to drop off at Goodwill, but I also got some things. But in the book related realm, I got for like 99 cents a copy of Major Tales and Poems by Edgar Allan Poe. So I think this is the book I'm going to focus on reading in October, which is crazy to think that far ahead. Then went out to eat, had a lovely steak, and then went to the Blue Jackets game. But oh my god, it was 3-1 Canucks ahead up until the last 10 minutes of the third, what is it called, round. Could not believe it. And then they scored a goal, so it was 2-3. Then they scored a second goal, and so they tied, and so everybody was just rooting for them to just stay tied so we could go into overtime. In the last minute and 30 seconds, they scored a 4th goal, and then the Canucks, for like the last 60 seconds, moved their goalie, basically took out their goalie and put in a different 6th player to try to just score another goal on them. In the last 10 seconds, I shit you not, they scored their 5th goal. It was nuts. And they like threw out streamers. I'm not a huge sports person, but oh my gosh, that game was so fun and so wild. I had a blast. But because I didn't know how late the game was going to be, I had no idea what to expect with something like that, and it was happening on a Sunday night, I had somebody come in and cover for me today at work. So I'm still planning on going into work later, in like an hour or so, but it was really nice to kind of take this morning and like take it easy, get some housework done, some chores. But what am I doing today? I think I'm gonna go film a video real quick. I think it's gonna be a nice, short and sweet kind of thing for later this week, and then go to work and, above all else, get my chapter 1 sent off to the people who I need feedback from. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. I might bring Sorcery of Thorns with me to work and do some reading if all of that gets done early. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go film a video right now. I'm not the utmost prepared for it. I'm trying to get more prepared by like writing down notes and scripts before I film. I don't have any of that right now, but I feel like I'm kind of dolled up and the lighting isn't terrible, so I'm just like, I gotta go do it while I still can. So I will check in with you guys later. All right, I just got done filming and that was so fun. This is one of the more creative and just enjoyable videos that I filmed in a while, because I'm discussing YA book covers and what I like or don't like about certain book cover styles, and that's just such an easy thing because it's like, well, I like this, I don't like that, I like this is why. So much fun. I loved it. So check that out. That should be coming out later this week, I think. But I'm going to walk the puppies, probably get my hair and makeup ruined because it is raining outside, and then head to work and get that writing stuff done.